What's up, YouTube? Just got back from Greensboro, North Carolina. I finished top 32 at the Regional Championships, for those of you wondering. Played a little bit of a wonky deck, a little bit out there, a little bit of St. Patty's Spirit. I played Celebi Venusaur with Shaman. So let me talk you guys through my thought process a little bit about why I played the deck, and what kind of made me, pull the trigger on it. So I finished up Toronto, had a pretty lackluster performance, looked around the field, kind of was like, well, like, a lot of these decks can't deal with, like, a big tanky guy that heals a lot of damage and, like, not really disrupts, but, like, puts cards back. And I thought about Groudon a little bit. And while Groudon is a good deck, it really doesn't stand up to, like, having to do stuff, evolve, 4 energies, and, like, has to be 4, like, fighting base energies and that kind of stuff. So the deck is kind of not great anymore because Lucamine's kind of gone. So yeah, but Wob is still really strong. So I went and I was looking at Celebi Venusaur, this big boy over here, and I was like, what if I put this guy in Rayquaza, like Turbo Rayquaza with a Ninja Boy, so I can Evergreen GX and shuffle everything back in, and theoretically this wins me the Garb matchup. And this got me thinking, what if I build Celebi Venusaur Turbo? And so I went home, I messaged Franco Takahashi, and I said, hey man, I know this deck got second in Japan at an expanded event, and their meta is way different from ours because they have 1+ set, and they have, like, Hex, Gets This Puzzle, all these crazy cards, Lieutenant Surge, But this deck got second. Can you find me the list? And he said, I don't really know the guy, but I'll ask around, give me a day or two. I said, okay, cool. In the meantime, I made my own list, and it was, like, elixirs, a bunch of different grass types. I got way too complicated with the deck, played like 2 or 3 games, decided it wasn't worth it because I was drawing really poorly. So I went back to testing like Rayquaza and Pikazak. And then Franco gets back to me with the list, and I was like, okay, this is weird. It's got potions, red cards, Erica's, like Gets His Hex, all these like crazy cards that I didn't really know. And so I started playing games with the deck on ladder just for fun. And I think I played like 35 to 40 games. Sorry if I hit you guys on ladder. It's just kind of, I victimized you guys with Celebi. And I changed cards as I was going. And I kind of got to this list with the night. I'll explain some of the cards as I go. So, Pollen Hazard for a Grass DCE, 50 Poison Bird Confused. So my thought process here is now like, well, I mean, that's at least 80 guaranteed, right? And a lot of decks can't really deal with confusion very well in Expanded because you don't play too many natural switch cards like you do in Standard. Also, Status Condition Kill negates Rescue Stretcher, Teammates, etc. from a lot of decks. So I was like, okay, this could be pretty good. 2 grass, 2 colors, Solar Beam 150. Very vanilla, just smack. Big damage. Doesn't really one-shot anything, kind of unfortunate, but it's fine. 2 grass, 2 colorless, plus 180 for Evergreen. A pretty good number in Expanded. 180 is a good number. And then you heal all the damage, guaranteed. My opponents, some of them did not understand that you heal all the damage regardless if I have the +1 energy. The +1 just lets me shuffle my discard in, which was a really cute thing to do, honestly. So I'll explain my matchups and what happened as I go. Sudowoodo was a mime until I was testing, and thanks to Justin Bakari for playing 10 games of Zorgarb versus this with me, because I wanted to make sure the matchup was actually 50-50 and not actually unfavored, because if I was unfavored versus Zorgarb, I wouldn't have played this deck. I would have just played Pikazak, honestly. But the Sudowoodo was so good because it stalled and helped a lot, so I just said, whatever, let's keep it in here. There's 4 Healing Shaman. I don't know if this is correct. Maybe Wob was better. I didn't actually use these bad boys much except for to tank, and I think Wob does the same thing to tank and just like give up prizes. So, these guys heal. That's about it. There's 1 Blower because it's Skyla searchable, and I think it's also just like good to have if I'm pitching away cards, and I can just go Blower plus do stuff. And then I have 2. I have a supporter and an item to get rid of Garb. There's 1 Nest Ball, which again Skyla searchable, and also it's a fifth card to get a basic. Which I actually was having a little bit of problems with in testing when I only played 4 Netball, because there were some times where the Netball needed to be energy, and so the 1 Nest Ball provides that. Netball really good, searches for 8/9 of my Pokemon, and almost all my energy. Pretty good. Scramble Switch was my ace spec of choice. Go from one Venusaur to the other, kind of just make it so they have to deal with a fresh new tanky boy, and even if I'm giving up 3 prizes on the bench guy, they're not killing my active. 4 VS Seekers, 2 Aethers just to be tanky and big, and just make it really, really hard for them to kill me, in one shot because that's really what I fold to. I fold to getting one shot, really. One Life Force, naturally just really, really good stadium in this deck. I played one AZ. I was considering a Cassius to shuffle back in, but the AZ kind of felt like it would be good in a matchup where something gets stuck in the active and I can just pick it up and not care. Maybe Acerola would have been better. I'm not entirely sure. Well, that's another debate for another day. Maybe I could have played both. One Faba. A lot of the time against like Zoroark decks, they kind of like, they haven't been playing Special Charge so much recently, so they like kind of pitch a DCE or two. I burn Poison Confused, they blow one away, and then I go Faba one of the DCEs or something, and then if I can go Faba, burn Poison Confused in the same turn, it kind of stifles their plan, and especially if they toxin themselves, it makes it hard for them to find the DCE, because they're not really expecting me to Faba. There's two Gardenia, heal 80 damage, very vanilla, very good, honestly. 80 is a lot of damage. There was two Guzma. I opted to play I had three Guzma originally in the list when I was testing, but then I opted to play a two Guzma, one Lysander split, because sometimes it was really hard to pull off a Guzma plus, something play, and Lysander was just, the card I needed when I needed to be, like, just bring something up. I played one Karen because I was struggling a little bit with Night March without it, and Night March was a deck that I expected slightly. I mean, it did just win Toronto Regionals, and Jimmy Pendarvis won with it, so it's like, there will be copycats, I don't know how many, but I was like, I'm not taking the chance. I played 3 Lily, just because it's a good turn 1 supporter, and I wanted to have turn 1 supporters just in case, like I get end low or something like that. But I think Lily was kind of just bad over the course of the tournament. I didn't really use it too much, so I would have liked it to be anything else, honestly. I don't know what I could have tested more. I should have tested more. I just kind of pulled the gun on this deck. There's 2 N. N's good. N's always good and expanded. N very, 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 very good. Maybe a Chorus. Maybe a Chorus would have been really good. 4 Juniper. I just want to pitch stuff, get it in the discard, play with it, and then if I get to the point where I need to Evergreen, so be it. I Evergreen. The one Skylo is actually really, really good because of the one Choice Band in the deck, the one Life Force, the Field Blower, the Scramble Switch. I can pick up a supporter for next turn if I need to. Also, it just became I'm going to Skylo now, and we can figure it out later. And this was a last-minute addition, Steven's Resolve. So I was talking to Harris Nor the night before the event. It's Friday night at 2 a.m. or Saturday morning technically. We're just kind of looking through a lot of full art supporters because I'm joking around about how I want to play any full art supporter that's just exists and expanded. And so I'm just I'm going to play everything that's pretty. I want to play any full arts that I got. And so Harris is showing me his binder and I'm looking through his full arts. And Harris goes, why don't you play a regular Stevens? And for those of you who don't know what Stevens does, it's search your deck for an energy and a supporter. Because realistically, all I need to do with Celebi is attach every turn. Missing the energy attachment is really what kills me. So, because of that, I thought Stevens Resolve when he said Stevens, and I was like, wait a minute. If I can attach an energy turn 1 and Stevens Resolve for any 3 cards, I force somebody to end me. And if you're a Zoroark deck, you don't want to end me. So that seems really good. Naturally, I'll probably grab a way to, retreat, a DCE, and a Sycamore or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Which is usually what I did. I usually grabbed either the DC or the Grass, whatever I was missing. And if I had the energy already, I'd grab a modifier like a Fury Belt, a way to get out of the active, and then a Sycamore to just put more cards in my discard. Or a supporter I wanted to pitch and put in the discard if I already had a Sycamore in my hand, which is kind of cool. So the Stevens was pretty good in that respect. The one-off Choice Band was an addition that I decided on after testing with Picari, because I would GX and not one-shot a Zoroark, and then he would come up with Lele and just hit me. And I was like, well, this is really bad, because I have no response to Lele. I can't one-shot it. But if I go GX with a Choice Band, and they don't have their blower on the correct turn, if they bring up Lele and hit me, I can just kill it with my 150 plus 30 attack, and then, yada, yada, yada. And Choice Band also makes it so Shaman dies to status conditions, which is cheeky, but it never really came into play, I don't think. There's 2 Fury Belts because I want to be a tanky boy, and the numbers are cool. It's fine. 2 Float Stones because I gotta move these boys. There's a lot of them. They're thick. Someone's got to take hits for a little bit. There's 6 Basic Grass and 4 DCE, and there was 2 Herbal Energies. Originally I had 4 of this card, but I wanted to have less special energy because Trevenant and special energy hate could be a thing this weekend. So I proceeded to simply play 2 of these bad boys to just kind of have that 30 heal. So all in all, that was the list. Let's go through my matchups right over here. Okay, so round 1, I went up against Alex Graves. He was playing Zoroark Garbodor, and game 1, I pretty much just won because Alex had no idea what was going on. Game 2, I should have also won, but I was convinced I had the game in my deck, so I Sycamored, but I actually prized it. It was one of my last 2 prizes, I'm pretty sure, and so I lost. I could have just literally played it slow, and there's literally a 0% chance I lose the game. And then game 3, we went to time, but Alex understood that the game was over anyway, and he just conceded to me, which was really cool of him. And so that was awesome. Awesome of him to do. And then the next round, I went up against Sean Kelly on stream, if you guys watched that, who was playing Hoopastall, and unfortunately I probably scramble switched both games 1 and 2, so I literally couldn't build up a big Celebi or like a big Shaman and then scramble switch into it, because the problem was the Grunts, and the Grunts plus Enhanced Tamer made it so I couldn't really deal with his board. I barely lost game 1, game 2 he just absolutely dominated me, and I just, he showed me that he had a unknown hand or whatever, and I just said I don't want to play this matchup anymore. Okay, so I'm 1-1. Round 3 against Alex Joplin, who's also playing Zoroark Garb. Game 1, he has a pretty really good start, and my start is super mediocre. I think he red carded me and it stuck, which is very ironic considering I play 20 supporters, a lot of draw ones. And I lost game 1, and then game 2 I just kept completely rolled him, and game 3 he opened, I think, execute, and I went, and he went draw like attach pass or something, and I went draw attach Stevens, and he conceded. Like he looked at his top deck while I was Stevensing and just said he got it, because he knew I grabbed the DCE. And then round 4 against Calvin Madsen, who was playing Rayquaza. Game 1, I didn't know he was playing Rayquaza because he literally opened Lele. I went first, I went attach Stevens, he went draw pass, and I said okay. I went DCE Fury Belt, set up another Salesforce on the bench, Shaman, Sycamore, my hand, yada yada, didn't do Berg Confuse, and he went draw game 2. And then game 2 he popped off and actually just killed me like super early, and I priced Sudowoodo, which was really annoying, because it's my like one real out to stopping them from going too ham. And then game 3 I found Sudowoodo turn 1 with an S-Ball, I'm pretty sure. I might have Sycamore naturally into it, which is kind of crazy, but because of that his like start was super awkward, because he opened Marshadow, had to Lele for a supporter, and then had to Shaman, so he only ever had 2 slots on the bench, and I think one of them was a Ray and the other was a Zorora, so I just killed the one Ray, and then he tried to power up a second Ray, but I believe I just killed the Shaman or something, and then I just won the game. So then round 5 I went up against a really good buddy of mine, Jeffrey Kiss. Game 1 I pretty much just beat Jeff. He had no idea what the hell was in my deck, and Sudowoodo kind of stopped him. Game 2, the game was super, super close, but he ended up squeaking it out at the very end because he needed to hit like Rebirth Heads, Elixir for the last energy in his deck. You know, this is my all-in gamble kind of thing, and he got it, which, you know, whatever. And then game 3, I opened Salsor and pretty much passed, and he killed me. I like went attach pass pretty much, and he just killed me. And I was like, okay, this happened. So now I'm at 3-2. I'm kind of like, well, Venus. I played Venusaur, so I'm doing this to myself, but I did hit 2 Rays, so I don't know what the hell's going on with my day. And Hoopastall, like, what? Round 6, I went up against Luke Morsa, who was playing Hitmonchan, and I won game 1. He won game 2 because I bricked really hard, and then I won game 3 because the matchup was incredibly favored. Round 7 up against Melanie. She was playing Ray as well. Game 1, I don't think she knew I had Sudowoodo, so she popped off turn 1, but like kind of had like a 1 or 2 card hand or something, and like 3 VS Seeker were gone. Like she went completely insanely aggro turn 1, just setting up her board because she saw the Shaman and the Venusaur or something, and like I got let loose into like Nest Ball, like Sycamore or something, so I like attached Nest Ball for the pseudo Sycamore, and then she just like went draw, attach pass, because I think she had an energy on the active Ray, bench Ray, and then no Aurora on the board, so that was kind of funny. And then game 2, I pretty much just rolled it from there because I just took a bunch of prizes, and she couldn't. I just wiped the energy on the board, and she just could never one-shot me at that point. Game 2 was where I think she made a mistake, because she brought up my Salzor that had 3 energy on it and hit it for 210. Because I got pseudo down super early again, and she thought I needed the extra energy to heal, but I just went like attach heal, and she was like, "Oh, this is unfortunate." I was like, "Yeah, I don't need the extra energy to heal." Here we are. So 2-0, I'm now 5-2. There's a hope. I have to win the next one. I'm in day 2, and that's like all I can realistically ask for with Celebi Venusaur. So up against Fitting and Lynch, really good player from the West Coast playing Zoro Garbodor. Game 1, he makes a sequence of weird plays that I don't really understand. He goes into the Wobbuffet. A couple of big brain plays. 2 DCEs are gone. I Faba one away. And then he makes this really weird play where he has to make the play where he goes into, I have 3 prizes. He has like 5, I think. And he goes into garbage. He retreats into garbage collection, and garbage collection's the 1 DCE on the top of the deck. He's got like a 12, 13 card deck now. I go draw. I don't have an N in hand, so I can't shuffle reset his hand. And so I just Karen. And he had like 9 or 10 Pokemon in the discard, and he was toxined. So I basically made him put 9 or 10 bad cards back into his deck that didn't do anything in this situation. And I killed the Trubbish, and I went to the 2 prizes. And then he drew, and then he pretty much passed, and then I just killed the thing on the bench for game. And then game 2, I pretty much he had to dig, and dig deep, because I think he like either toxined super early, or he couldn't find his he benched his executes to do damage. He benched his executes to do damage to me early, while simultaneously toxining, I believe, to put a lot of pressure on me. But by doing so, he had to start trading good cards or something. Like, I don't exactly remember what happened. I don't think he toxined, actually. I just like let him keep the eggs on the bench, and I just won. Like, he had 5 prizes at the end, and I had 2. But instead of actually attacking him, I kind of just let him deck, and I healed at the end. 6-2, I go into the last round. I hit Jimmy Pendarvis, who's playing Archie Stoice. Probably my most favorite matchup at the tournament that I wanted all day. I want to ID and just get into day 2 because I don't want to think about it. I don't want to play it. I don't want to deal with it because I know they play Let Loose. Jimmy wants to play. We sit down. I win the coin flip. We don't even draw our hands, and he asks for the ID. And I said, sure, that's fine. Get out of here. Because there's always a chance I can brick, and Let Loose is really, really good against me. So, and they do have a King Draw, so it's a little bit scary, but not really, honestly, but it's fine. So I go into day 2, 6-1. Got to win 4, no other way around it. Round 1, I hit Alex Shemansky. Game 1, he red cards me, and it actually sticks, and I lose in a couple turns. Game 2, I completely and utterly roll him. Game 3, he gets a perfect setup with 4 Zoroark turn 2. He wisens up and knows he doesn't have to get Toxin out, and so he's trading a billion cards every turn. And I miss a really crucial grass in one of the turns, which actually costs me the entire game because I'm just 2 prizes short of ending it. And this is after he gets 4 Zoroark turn 2. I'm the only deck that can keep up with something that fast, honestly. So I take a hard loss there, and then I go up against round 11 Will Gay, who's playing Buzz Carbink stuff. And it's just really bad for my man because he can never kill me. And so I just win. Pretty much. Like, I literally just 2-0'd him. Like, he just never killed me. And if he does take if he does kill a Venusaur, I'm probably like letting one tank, which I did game 2. I just like let one like eat a bunch of hits and die. Like, I made him burn his absorption to kill it, and then I put a bunch of energies on the bench one, brought it up, Jexed and N in the same turn, so he went down to like 2 prizes. And like fighting doesn't have really good draw if they don't have auxiliary on board, so I won. And I went up round 12 against Dallas Ray, who's playing Trev, and then both games I just kind of attached a bunch, healed a bunch, and then won. And the Burn Poison Confuse really does hurt them a lot because they can't deal with it. Yeah, it just won me the game. Lysander Scramble Switch, also pretty good combo onto like a Lele. And then the 13th round, I went up against Jeff once again. Game 1, he barely won. I'm pretty sure he needed like an Elixir hit, and then not a Ho-Oh head. I think it was Elixir hit, and then the 4th Guzma, or like a Guzma plus Elixir hit, and he got it, which was and Blower. He needed to blow my stadium, which he did, which is fine. I mean, it happens. And then game 2, I opened Pseudo, which is, best starter. But my opening hand was literal like Gardenia, VS Seeker, Energy, like Fury Belt. I went draw, and it was like an Energy, so I went like Energy, Fury Belt, pass. And then he got me turn 1, which, I mean, he drew the right sequence of cards in the right order. He got the Coco Prism turn 1. Like, immediately Ultra Bolted for the Coco Prism. Like, just off the bat, he just went get the Coco Prism, and like sat there, and he's like, okay, I'll bench it to like start, so I don't mill this under any circumstance. And he just like, he knew he had the Zorora, and he just dug through his deck and got what he needed to get. So I'm knocked out of top 8 contention, and then I go to sit down for my final round. My friends are telling me that even if I win, I am more than likely going to bubble top 16, and so it's not really worth me playing it out and just taking the safe ID because 26 is guaranteed into 32, and yeah. And so I don't know what my opponent's playing. He's one of the few unknown players on the table of decks, and he's playing it off like, like, I think this matchup's super good for me, but like I know you're playing Venusaur, and he's like, do you know what I'm playing? And I'm like, I honestly have no clue, dude. And then he's like, well, and then we like sat there for a second, and he's shuffling up his deck, and I'm like, listen, man, if we both ID, we go to 26, we're both guaranteed, we're completely safe. We lock up $250 and walk out of here, you know. Like we don't have to play this out. Like one of us is gonna lose, and that kind of sucks. And we're probably not even gonna get top 16. And he was like, now that you say it that way, I think we should just ID. And I was like, sure. And so I signed a tie slip. I got up and walked away. And then both my friends who were playing their match right next to me for a top 16 slot, because they were already at 26, told me that as soon as I got up, the guy was like, oh, thank God I was playing Trev, and I just bluffed the whole time, and I can't believe it worked. And I was like, oh, well. So I spared this man's life, but it's okay. That all being said, this deck was one of the most fun decks I've played in a really long time. The list definitely can be refined a lot for expanded things. I definitely can make changes. I definitely can see like immediately like the Lily is a point of critique. Maybe more search cards, maybe more like turbo cards. Like I don't know. Like the deck has a lot of room to adapt to metas and deal with stuff. I didn't hit too many Archies, but I had a game plan against them and I knew what I was doing. Like everything being said, like this deck was really fun, and I had a lot of fun, you know, sticking to my guns and playing something I tested for like a week. And I'm very happy with how it performed. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys continue supporting me. I'm almost at 1,000 CP, so like, subscribe, and hit me with those follows on Twitter, boys. Other than that, that's everything. So I'm going to take a nap because it's late and I'm tired and I just got home from the airport. So peace out, guys.